Have you ever wondered how strong a character is? When the Universe Survival Tournament was revealed, so too came the announcement of Universe 7's squad. Like any Dragon Ball fan at the time, I went to my head and organized the team from weakest to strongest using what I knew about the series. But it got me thinking, I wonder if there exists a way to figure out their actual power levels. And I don't mean like typical fan assumptions based on nothing, no. I'm talking more about using the original source material, interviews with Akira Toriyama, and extrapolating what we can from that to piece together the most accurate power level reading for each individual fighter in Universe 7's team. Honestly, this sounded like fun, and I'm always up for a challenge. So today I present to you the first episode in a show that I am now calling
The Power Level Series,
in which I will break down each character in the Universe 7 lineup, beginning with the weakest, ultimately ending with the most powerful. Hopefully finding out along the way with each individual character what their power level actually is. I'm totally not Mark, and this
is the Power Level Series.
Episode 1, Master Roshi. Master Roshi is a human-type Earthling, 350 years old. His techniques include the Mothaba, otherwise known as the Evil Containment Wave, the After Image Technique, Thundershock Surprise, and he is the originator of the Kamehameha. It becomes known to us very early on in the series that Master Roshi is widely considered the best martial artist on the planet, performing feats of power that, quite frankly, couldn't be topped for quite a while in the series, acting as the mentor and master to the series protagonist Goku for a considerable amount of time. But what exactly is Roshi capable of? Well, early on in the series comes an instance that shows us just how powerful he can be, in which Master Roshi uses his full power form to unleash his signature ki attack towards the moon, erasing it from the sky. Pretty impressive for a guy in his 300s. But this specifically is interesting because it tells us something about Master Roshi as a character. Once he meets Goku, he becomes very focused on cultivating the next generation, always wanting to evaluate and encourage younger fighters like Goku, Krillin, and Tenshinhan to better themselves and always prepare for someone stronger, which are still words that echo in Goku's mind today. And even though he participated in tournaments against the likes of Goku, Krillin, and Tenshinhan, Roshi never once used that form against them specifically, using it only a handful of times in the entire series when the situation deemed it crucial. So with that in mind, let's talk numbers. Master Roshi, as we currently know him today, has 3 states, or forms for lack of a better term. The first one being his base form. In this state, he might seem like a fragile old man, but even in this form, he is capable of superhuman feats like catching bullets with his bare hands. The Raditz Saga brought many new great additions to the series, like Goku being an alien and having a brother. But more importantly for this video, it introduced power levels to the series. Once Raditz is taken care of in battle, Bulma remodels his scouter and uses it to read Master Roshi's power level in his base form. It reads 139, and given that the average human power level is around a 5, that's incredible for an Earthling. Moving swiftly along, the next state of power for Roshi doesn't exactly have a name, but it's tapped into when he begins taking things a bit more seriously. You can see this form in action during his fight with Tenshinhan. During the King Piccolo Saga, Weekly Jump issue number 31 clocks Master Roshi's power level at 180 when in this form. What might be worth noting also is that during his match with Tenshinhan, Master Roshi's main focus is on training and mentoring him, guiding him away from the corrupt Crane School, voluntarily jumping out of the ring, forfeiting the fight. The final and most powerful transformation for Roshi, however, is his full power state, where there's a dramatic increase in muscle mass with seemingly no drawback in speed. In this state, he can manipulate and use his ki attacks at maximum power. One of the only drawbacks to this form is its stamina consumption. It's just not built to last. Some examples include destroying Fire Mountain, blowing up the moon, and more recently, fighting Frieza's army in Resurrection F. That said, unfortunately, there is no official power reading for this form. There is, however, a way to figure it out, or at the very least, get as close as I possibly can. In Dragon Ball Super, as listed earlier, Roshi participated in the battle against Frieza's army in the Resurrection of F arc. In this section of the show, Master Roshi stands alongside the other Z Warriors as they face 170 Frieza soldiers each. So, using Frieza's army as a reference point, it's time for some good old-fashioned mental gymnastics. Let's see if we can't get some good old logic going. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to figure out the average strength of a Frieza Force soldier. Now, the official power levels are given for characters like Dodoria, Zarbon, and Kui, but these are referencing Frieza's elite members and are the best of the best within the Frieza Force. Definitely not common foot soldiers. But thankfully, in Daisenshu 7, there is reference to these two gentlemen, Banan and Sui, who both have power levels of 1,500, according to Daisenshu. These guys seem to be a good example for grunts in Frieza's army. Now that we have this average to go off of, let's look at something Frieza said. "I cannot believe how weak my army has grown. They can't even take out that little piece of scrap," referencing Krillin. This, however, I think is to be taken with a pinch of salt. We all know Frieza can sense power levels, and therefore I think this is a throwaway statement highlighting his disappointment for his army's shortcomings. Right, so I think we can safely assume that the Frieza force is somewhere in the region of 1 to 2,000 in terms of power level. And I think that's a fair assumption given what we have to work with. Moving along, taking a look at this quote from the Android Saga, as 18 is fighting Vegeta, the other Z warriors arrive on the scene. 17 points out that even 18 won't be able to take them all on if they jump in at once. In this situation, 18 was a decent bit stronger than Vegeta, Trunks would be second in strength, and Piccolo following third. Adding in Krillin and Tenshinhan, that brings the total to 5 Z warriors, 2 of which are relatively close to 18's strength. And when I say relatively, I mean 18 isn't like twice as strong as them. Using Gohan versus the Cell Juniors as an example, wherein one fighter was taking on multiple opponents, we can infer that one must be 2.5 times stronger when dealing with more than 2 opponents easily. At least. This is also observed when Goku is facing Jason Berter on Namek. During the fight with the Frieza soldiers, Roshi manages the horde really well, fighting only a few soldiers at a given time, slowing down only when his stamina gave out. So, gathering what we've learned about crowd control in Dragon Ball, we can say that in order to handle 170 soldiers as competently as he did, sometimes dealing with 3 or more at a given time, he would need to be at least 2 to 3 times their level. Heck, he even takes the time to mentor Krillin halfway through his fight. Taking all of this into account, Master Roshi has to have a power level of at least 3,750, assuming of course that the Horde has a power level of 1,500. Now, any seasoned Dragon Ball fan will tell you that relying on an individual's power level alone will result in a losing effort. In the blink of an eye, Roshi could harness his ki into a single Kamehameha, causing the blast to be many times stronger than Roshi's current level. Similar to when Piccolo charged his Special Beam Cannon against Raditz, or Goku's Super Kamehameha against Piccolo. Both of these were much more powerful than the user's current level. In both cases, each character roughly tripled their respective power outputs. This means that if Roshi charged a Super Kamehameha, assuming he's capable of such, could produce a blast with a power level reading of 11,250. But that's just speculation based on what Goku's done in the past. So with all that said, Roshi's power level is at least 3,750 when he's at his max power. And honestly, he could very well be more than this. So what could have caused this? Well, it has been about 20 years after the events of Dragon Ball. Roshi is a martial artist by nature, and come on, how many times have you heard Krillin say he's gone off the train of Roshi's? The man is a martial arts genius, packed with more tricks than he can count, hundreds of years of experience, and in modern day Dragon Ball Super is feeling greater than he has ever felt thanks to the Paradise Plant. Everyone should get excited because Roshi is coming out of retirement to help save the Earth once again. Now, before I bring this video to a close, I would personally like to send a huge thank you to Herms and the team over at Kaizenshu for creating the Dragon Ball Strength Checker. The people that were involved literally went through the entire manga and made accurate translations from Japanese to English for every instance strength became a topic of conversation. It honestly proved invaluable when writing this series. I'll leave a link if you want to check it out in the description down below. Now, if you guys want to see me tackle the next strongest fighter in the Universe 7 team, because honestly it gets way more detailed than this, don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe if you want to see other videos like this. Did you guys think I hit the nail on the head, or did you think that I was way off? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, I've been Totally Not Mark. Thank you so much for watching. Are you still there? Oh, you're still there. Don't really know what else to say. I don't really have anything written down. Yeah, I should probably get to work on the next episode. It's going to take about 20 years to make. That three-eyed freak's going to be hard. Alright, see you guys.